Alright. Hey guys, Chekkerz here from Climax Combo. Bringing you another deck profile. This time I'll be profiling my new Log Horizon deck. Like always, if you want to see the deck in action, the games will be in the description below. I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. I think the deck's pretty cool, and it's definitely a really cool extra booster. So, pretty good for an extra booster. Yeah, I'll just get right to it. So, first off, for level 0, we have 4 of these Sojiros. He's 2/5 power. During your opponent's turn, if your opponent has 3 or more characters on his stage, if it has 3 or less, then he gets plus 2k power, so he becomes 4/5 base, which is a pretty nice wall. Hitting over 4k is really good. And yeah, he's only good on defending though, so. But still a really solid card. Next we have 4 of these Kotsky level 0 Suiciders. She's 1k, so she's pretty weak, but she also has an effect where you can rest a character, a weapon or magic, and she gets plus 1k, so it's an okay effect. It's not useful all the time, but it comes in handy sometimes. Next we got 4 of these Marios. She's 500 power global to all weapon or magic characters, which is all the characters in the set, and she has 2 on-play effects. Her first one, you may mill the top 3 cards of your library, and the next one is mandatory. The other effect is mandatory. On play, you mill the top card of your library, and if it's a Climax, then she gets sent to the stock. So essentially it's a free brainstorm, and yeah, pretty good card. Next we got 3 of these Shidoi Brainstormers. He's pay 1, rest himself, and mill the top 4 for every Climax you hit, draw a card, so it's a nice plus brainstorm. And during your opponent's turn, you give the center character 1k. So it's the only brainstormer in the set, so you gotta use him, but he's a solid brainstormer. And lastly, for level 0, 2 of these Izuzus. Her first 2 effects are for some Rundelhaus card that I don't run, the 1/1 I believe, right? I don't know.
I don't even know.
But no Rundelhaus in the deck, so there's no point. She's just an on-play, pay 1, discard a card, search for a weapon or magic character. So search for anything in the deck. So yeah, she's just a 500 weak searcher in this set. But yeah, still, always nice to have searching and ditching. So let's see, 8, 12, 15, 17, I can't do math, 17 level 0s. So yeah, that's on a level 0 lineup. It is. But, yeah. Next, for level 1, we got 4 of these Shidois, 1L, 4K. If I have 5 or more cards in my hand, then he gets plus 1500 power, so he becomes 5500, which is essentially a level 1 vanilla, and he also has Clock Encore. So yeah, he's a nice card. He has the Clock Encore no matter what, so that's always nice. You're not restricted as long as you always has Clock Encore. Whatever. Next, this 1-0 Izuzu. She's 3500 power, and she's just a vanilla level 1 Suicider. So nothing much to say about that. And next we got this 1-0, I completely forgot his name. I don't remember. 5k on play. If you have a Mariel, then he gets plus 2k power, so on play he's a 7k level 1, which is a nice power to hit, since everything else is pretty weak. And lastly, 2 of these 1/1 3/5 backups. Yeah, that's my level 1s. 7, 9, 11. 11 level 1s. It's a low amount, but it gets the job done. So for level 2, we have 2 of these Akatskis. 2/1 7k. On play, you reveal the top card. If it's a weapon or magic character, you can add it to your hand, discard a card, right? Yeah. You add it to your hand, discard a card. I don't think it's May. And next, she has a Climax phase change with the level 3 Akatsuki, pay 2, discard a card, and you can put this in the slot that she was in. So it's a cool effect. 2 of those. One of these level 2 Akatsuki backups. She's just a 2/5 backup, pay 1 2/5 backup, but her other effect is when you use the backup of this card, then you can pay 2, then you shuffle your waiting room and your library together, so it's essentially a free refresh. This does go in, and the pay 3, the stock does go in as well, so this card is really good. And yeah, I'll explain it later when I go into level by level. But next we have 2 of these 2/2 events. It's just pay 2, salvage 2 characters. It helps keep your hand up, which can be a problem later on, and it also lets you, get back your level 3s that you had to discard earlier, because there aren't many ways to plus and like refix your hand. So I find myself holding on to these quite a bit, and it does save me a lot. So yeah, these 2/2 events are really important. And lastly, for level 2, we have one of these 2/1 Yantas. When one of your other characters attacks, he gets plus 1k, so if he attacks last, he's a 9k attacker, which is okay at level 2. But his other effect is you can pay 1, discard a card, and then he gets plus 1k, and you can move, you move a character on your opponent's stage to a vacant slot, and then he gets plus 1k, so he becomes 8k. And yeah, this is just really good for hitting back row. As long as your opponent has an open slot in the front, you just pay 1, discard a card, and move one of their assists or one of their cards in the back to the front. And yeah, and then it gives you an easy target to reverse, as you'll see later on how that works well with my level 3s. But yeah, that's 6 level 2s. Next up, we got level 3s for these Akatsuki 3/2s. She heals on play, and she also combos with this gate. When she reverses with the Climax, when she attacks, she gets plus 4k, and the effect of when she reverses your opponent's character, your opponent takes 1 damage. So when you play this Climax, she's essentially 15k before assists. So that's a really huge number, which basically guarantees you, the effect, which is really nice. And yeah, this card is really good. So 4 of those, and 3 of these 3/2 Shido is. His first effect is a continuous effect. Your opponent cannot deal damage to you with auto effects, so basically, burn, any kind of burn from your opponent's characters. And he's also assist. He's also an assist. He's a level assist in front, but the level assist is 1k times their level. So if this Akatsuki is in front of him, and she gets plus 3k power, making her 13k, which is really big. And his last effect, when one of your other characters reverses an opponent in battle, then you can pay 1, rest him, and give that character minus 2 soul in front. So yeah, just a really crazy card, this Shido. Just these 2 in general are really good. So yeah, 7 level 3s. That's all I run. And lastly, Climax lineup. 4 gates that combo with the Akatsuki, and 4 books. 8 plus triggers. And yeah, I don't run the book combo. But yeah, it's just here for the plus. And yeah, that's all my cards. So now I'll just go into how I play this deck level by level. Alright guys, so to start off for level 0, best card to have first turn is obviously the Shojiro. He is really weak on offense, only hits 2/5, but on defending he does hit 4/5, and at level 0 your opponent is most likely to not have 3 cards or more. So yeah, just a 4/5 wall. It's pretty hard for your opponent to get over. 4/5's a big number. Most sets can usually hit 4k and 4/5 at you're trading anyways, so it's a really good card. He can get suicided, so there's always that, and you're probably not going to kill anything with him since he's pretty weak. But yeah, in general, he's just a solid card. If you get him off, he can generate a lot of advantage early on, and yeah, he's just a good card. You want to have him out, just play him. Maybe next turn too. But if you really need to kill something, then you always have Suiciders. Level 0 Suiciders are always good. You get to trade with the guys or whatever. Trade for other Suiciders. It's always nice to have. And especially since you're not going to be killing anything with this guy. You know, yeah, you don't just want to let your opponent generate a bunch of stock. Yeah, that's basically really it for level 0. Just try to kill things with this, try to generate as much stock with Sojiro. Level 0 I usually don't play my yells unless, you know, I'm already out a good amount of climaxes early on, like maybe I trigger the first turn, I cancel a couple times. But yeah, having access to a free brainstorm is like, you don't really need to a level 0 since you don't know how your library is playing out. So, and you don't really need the 500 power because 4 or 5 is already big enough. 5k is just, okay, cool. And you don't need power for Suiciders because they'll always kill something. But if you do happen to have 2 in the back, then keep in mind her effect, you can rest 2. And then she becomes 3k, 4k with this setup. So you can get over things and still keep your Suicider, and then you can trade again the next turn. But yeah, usually I don't play these Marios early on. I usually wait till a good chance, like, you know, it's free brainstorm. Also, the only ways to pay out stock level 0 is this Izuzu, but it does let you search and prepare for later on, and also this Shidoe. A lot of times I do find myself keeping him in the back, because, I mean, Love Live gets to brainstorm every turn, and it's really good. Like, just being able to brainstorm every turn. He does rest himself, so you will have to keep him next turn. But he doesn't just sit there. He does give your center character 1k, which can help, because a lot of things are pretty weak. But yeah, just, and plus brainstorm is always good. Keeping up hand in this deck is very important. But yeah, your back row would look something like this. 2 Marios or one of these. If she does get hit to stock, it's not that bad because, you know, your late game gets pretty stock intensive, so the stock helps, and you're probably not going to kill anything with this anyways. And I mean, she's only 500 power, and you know, 500 global is really not all that important in this deck because you don't need it for the level 0s. You probably don't need it for the level 1s, as you'll see in a second, and I'll explain. I might as well just move on to level 1. My level 1 game is focused really on just trading as much as possible, keeping your hand up, and just generating as much stock as you can. So, like, as soon as you hit level 1, this is probably the best card to have. 5500 power and Clock Encore is, you know, it's okay. You can, I mean, the Clock Encore helps your hand a lot, and you can keep getting smacks in with him, so you generate a good amount of stock with this card. And, I mean, 5-5 is really weak, 6-5 if you have 2 Mario in the back. So, I don't really generally expect to kill anything. Maybe there's a really low level 1, or like, your opponent leaves level 0s, you can still handle those. But yeah, he's just here to just, you know, get stock and get hand size. So yeah. Next, you don't want to not be able to kill stuff. You do sometimes, like, you want to trade. They're good. Level 1s. Like, having a level 1 Suicider is really helpful with this deck, because, like I've said a bunch of times, you're probably not going to kill anything with this. So, and, I mean, there's no power crime, you just boom, and they're dead. So yeah, having the Uzuzu also helps, you know, not let your opponent get out of control, because if you can't kill their level 1s, then you're basically fucked later on. So yeah, just being able to trade is really helpful. And also, this guy, 7k on play is a nice number to hit. It's a 1-1 vanilla, and you have to have a Mariel, so he'll probably be stronger. He'll be 7-5 or 8k, which is a nice number to hit. It can definitely let you get over certain 1-0s, maybe even some 1-1s. It really just depends. But yeah, he's just here for basically the same purpose as her, to trade. He's probably going to die next turn because he's only 5k, 5-5, 6-5 at best. I mean 6k at best. So yeah, it's helpful. So yeah, as you can see, level 1 is basically just a bunch of costless. You just want to get as much stock as possible, keep your hand size up as much as possible, and yeah. So as you can see, the 500 power doesn't really matter that much. 6-5 is better than 5-5, but you know, it's not essential. So like I said before, if you do hit the stock with this Mario, it's not all that devastating. And yeah. Also for level 1, I do have these 1-1 events. So if you do have them at 6k, 6.5, and they have like you can still back up, and he'll hit at most 7, 10k, which is pretty big. You'll probably be able to stop a lot of level 1s, maybe some level 2s as long as they're not powered up. So yeah, let me think how I want to say this. If you think this backup is going to give you a good amount of advantage, then by all means use the 1 stock. But yeah, this is the only time I would back up. Everything else is pretty weak anyways, so having like 1-0 backups is pretty pointless because you're not going to back up anyways, and your level 3s are too strong anyways, so you probably don't need the 1500 extra power. But yeah, this is really one of the only times I would consider using the backup, is if at level 1 it's going to give you a lot of advantage, just backing up into one of the really strong guys. But yeah, that's basically it for level 1. Just smack them up, and you know, just play around your hand, brainstorm, whatever, all the good stuff. Level 2, I do run these 2-1 Akatsuki's. If you are winning, like changing into a level 3 lets you heal and lets you start smacking for 2 souls, so it's always good. But since it is a climax phase change, it is pretty stock intensive, and you do want as much stock as possible once you hit level 3. But like I said, if you're winning like pretty heavily, then you will have a bunch of stock, and might as well do it. Just start smacking it up, and you can do the Katsuki level 3 combo earlier. But if she does come out, I don't have a level 2 level assist, so at best she'll be 11k, which is really weak, and there's plenty of other stuff that can hit pretty high at level 2, so it's honestly not worth it most of the time. Most of the time I don't play it, so. But she does essentially let you discard 2, because on play you do reveal the top, add to your hand, and then discard a card, so you can discard a climax that way. You can also discard using the climax phase change, and you can also pay out any climaxes that you may have triggered that last turn, because it is 3 stock. So there are times when you can do it, and you know, you might as well do it, but most of the time I find myself not doing it. So yeah, generally level 2 I'm just riding my level 1s and keep smacking them, and then praying to God that once I hit level 3 I'll win. But also for level 2, I do have this 2-1 Nyanta, 7k. He can hit 9k, which is pretty nice. You can probably kill any level 1s they still have, maybe some level 2s, we'll see. But I mean, his other effect is really good, because you can move, like as long as they have a vacant slot in the front row, you can move their back row assists to the front, you know, have an easy time killing it because it's probably weak. But yeah, that effect helps out later on, and I'll go into it a bit more once I talk about level 3s a bit. But yeah, he's a good level 2. He's an okay level 2. So yeah, if you want to pay a stock to get some more attacks in, or kill some more shit with this guy, you know, he's a good card. Let's see. I'll also talk about this event a bit. A lot of times before, I would kind of, if I drew this really early, I would just ditch it, and later on, you know, I wouldn't have a Shido in my hand, or I wouldn't have enough Akatsuki's. I'd just maybe have 1 or none at all, and then I'd just be fucked. Like, there's no real consistent way to get it, because there's no combos that let me salvage, like that I'm running. The only real way to just pick a card and get it to my hand is really this easy, because it lets me search. So holding on to this event the whole game and then playing it later on definitely helps a tremendous amount. Like, it saved me a lot of times because I wouldn't have my level 3s in my hand. So I'm just saying, I don't let go of this anymore. I usually keep 1 in my hand, and then boom, I have my level 3s, so I'm not proper fucked. But yeah, just pointing that out. And then lastly, I guess I'll just mention this here too as well. The backup, it's just 2-5, and there's no point in backing up most of your characters because everything's too weak or too strong. So yeah, it's just awkward in there. But the effect, the pay 2 essentially free refresh is really huge. You don't take the refresh damage, which is great. It keeps your survivability up. And after you refresh the first time, let's say you get out a bunch of climaxes, you have like 20 or 30 cards left in deck, and only there's like 1 or 2 or 3 in there, then you're probably going to take a huge amount of damage. This backup really comes in handy. It lets you, it just gives you a chance. I'll say that. It is a lot of stock, but you're just paying a lot of stock to possibly live, and it's really good. It's helped me a lot. And it's just in general a great backup to have. Finally, we'll talk about the best part of this deck, the level 3s. Don't shake your head. I'll talk about this Shido first off. His first effect is great. Your opponent can't burn, so essentially they have to smack you up, or I'm pretty sure clock shoot still works. But yeah.
I don't know.
Is it? I don't know. If it doesn't, great. If it does, oh well.
If you guys do, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if that does work. But yeah, it just increases your survivability. The power is huge. It basically makes your level 3s unkillable. 3k power to level 3s is like a lot of power. It's huge. And the effect of paying 1, resting him, giving -2 soul in front is huge because, I mean, he does give a lot of power, so it's probably really easy to reverse something, so you'll most likely get it off. And -2 soul is basically limiting your opponent to 2 attacks almost, because level 1s, everything below certain level 2s, only 1 soul. So I mean, even if they trigger 1, it's still 0 damage. They have to double trigger, and in order to get in 1 soul damage, which is pretty big. And level 2s, they have to trigger at least 1 in order to get damage at that point. So you're really limiting your opponent to 2 attacks essentially, and it just helps your survivability a lot, which helps a lot because the set does only have 1 healer. And I'll talk about that now. This Akatsuki, she heals on play, so she is the only healer in the set, so you gotta have 4. Okay, usually like I do, but she also has a combo that does damage, which is really good. Being able to heal and end the game somewhat, or just do more damage is great. She gets huge already with the combo, so just with the combo itself, she hits 15k. With the Shido 18k, which unless your opponent has a 20k backup, you're probably gonna get the attack in. So you are gonna get her. You are gonna get a reverse. So you are gonna burn them 1, and then you can use Shido as effect to give her -2 soul in front. So it forces them to really commit to the other 2 slots. But yeah, this combination is great. She's 13k, 13.5 if you have Mario, which sometimes sometimes there are. But yeah, it's already pretty big. And let's see what else. Yeah. At level 3, it's all about surviving, really. Or, well, it's not all about, but you have a lot of ways to survive. You can heal a bit. You can mitigate damage. It's just really, really nice to have. Another thing I mentioned is you are severely hindered if you can't reverse your opponent's characters. So, like, let's say they play, like, Licious Kid over here and just rams everything in. Then you're basically hitting them for more damage, like at 2 soul minimum every slot. So it gives them more of a chance to cancel, and they're still hitting you like 1 or 2 soul each turn. So, and if you don't have anything to reverse, then you can't do the Akatsuki combo, you can't do Shido as effect. So it doesn't hurt them really that much. I mean, ramming all your characters in is like, it does suck, but it really lowers the scariness of your level 3s, if that makes sense. So a lot of times what I do is I move Marielle in the front, because she still gets power, but she is stupidly weak. 500, that's as low as you can get. So chances are, if your opponent plays a character in front of her, then it's probably going to kill her. You know, I also play Izuzu and other level zeros, just to give your a target for your opponent to reverse, so that way they have a character here, and then you can just move it over and reverse it like that. Because if you don't do this like every turn, then it's pretty underwhelming. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Level 3 is a lot of fun. Oh, and also the Nyanta. Like I said, if your opponent doesn't leave you anything to reverse, but he does have something in the back row, you can always play Nyanta, pay the extra stock, and move it to the front, so then you do have a target to reverse, and you can do the effect, and then Shidoe's effect. So, yeah, there are ways to get stuff to reverse, so it's not that bad. Yeah. It is really stock intensive. Oh wow, that wasn't the whole. You know, having a level 3 assist, paying 2 stock for an assist is pretty heavy. And like I said, I usually play the 2-2 event every game, so that's another 2 stock, which is a lot. You know, then Nyanta, if you want to use his effect, is another 2 stock. Just a bunch of stock. Like, you really need to have a decent early game. You're just getting a lot of hits in. And yeah, generating as much stock as possible. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do, you know, your full combo at level 3. And at that point, it's just a really underwhelming deck. Like, if I get smacked up pretty early, then I basically just lose. And yeah. But if you do get it off, the deck's a lot of fun. And it is really scary to go up against. Yeah, that's all I have to say about how to play this deck level by level. Next, I'll just talk about some alternatives that you can try out if you don't like what you see, or you know, maybe you prefer some other cards. But yeah. Alright guys, for starters, at level 0, I generally don't have anything. Like, the only thing that kills shit are the Suiciders, and Sojiro is just basically a wall. But if you do want a little bit more, you know, offensive power, there's always this Akatsuki, 1500 power and hand-on core, as long as you have no other characters on your stage, which is it's a really solid level 0. 4K, which is always nice, so you could probably kill, you know, 3/5s, trade with other 4Ks. And she does have hand-on core, so you can just discard a card, discard one of your higher level characters, and keep her around and generate some stock. But, you know, I do have stuff to play in the back row, so this does limit me being able to play a Mael or a Brainstormer in the back, as well as, you know, a Searcher. But, yeah, I think Sojiro is really good, and it does help the blue count as well. But if you do want, I mean, it's a really good card, so you can try it out if you want, but I'm just letting you know. That, level 1, I guess if you don't want to run the 1-0 Shidoe, there's always this, the 1-1 Akatsuki 6K. She has Clock on Core as well, and you can rest 2 characters in the back, and she gets plus 1K, which means she can hit 8K as long as you rest both your back row, which is pretty nice to have. You can definitely kill stuff with this, as opposed to having the Shidoe around. And, you know, having blue and red at level 1 can be annoying sometimes, so just having all reds is cool. But, you know, a lot of times I don't have a full back row, so you can't really get the full use out of this. You can't really hit 8K consistently, because sometimes you do hit a stock with the Mariel. Maybe you don't want to play her, maybe you have only one of her. You know, a lot of times you can't really get the full potential out of this card. And paying 1, I mean, it's only 1, but it can be, I don't know, it's nice not having to play anything. What?
Every stock counts?
Yeah, every stock counts. Like, a lot of time, you just need a lot of stock at the end. So, I think the level 1 is good enough. You can still trade with other things, so it's not that big a deal to have a consistently powerful card. So, yeah, that's why I opted not to run this. But, you know, it's still there. Next, I'm just saying, 1-0, 1500 backup, Why am I even mentioning this? There's the new PR.
Oh, we should go get those.
Yeah, one day. Well,
It's this month.
oh, is it? Well, there's a 1.0 PR if you guys don't know. It's 1K backup, but if you have
Shit away.
sheet away, a sheet away?
Yeah, you know shit away on the field.
Oh, it's not that good.
You run the brainstorm.
It's not okay, but 1.0 in general, at most 2K power. If you have the other PR, you know, my lineup's already really weak, so 2K power won't make that much of a difference. I mean, having the 1.1 backup is essentially better because you do get a lot more power out of it. And I mean, if you're really gonna back up, you need a lot of power. So, yeah. I mean, you can run it. It's costless, so you know, no stock. Every stock counts like usual. But yeah, I just find the 1.1 backup, event backup, more useful than this. Lastly, you don't have to run these. I'm probably going to take them out soon because I very rarely ever do the change because it's just very, you know, underwhelming. She's really weak without sheet away. You know, if you're changing before refresh, then like you might do the Koski combo sometimes, but you really want your Climaxes to be in the waiting room before you refresh. So I don't know. It's not that good. It's just taking up space at this point, honestly. So I probably will take these out, and you don't have to run these either. I'll talk about this now at Sugu, since he does have body card, which means your opponent's character, as long as he's in the center, your opponent's characters can only front attack him. So if it's on the side, they front attack, they have to front attack him.
And they can't side.
And they can't side.
What? They can never side attack when he's in the bodyguard position.
Oh!
So they can't like side for one and shit.
That's cool. But yeah, and his other effect, 500 for every weapon or magic character, which is everything. So if you have full field, 11.5. Shido in the back, 14.5. Another Mario, 15. Pretty damn strong. Probably can't kill it unless they try extremely hard. So this card is pretty good because, like, if you have no hand, you play him, and then you're not going to lose any characters pretty much the next turns. However, since he is bodyguard and your opponent has to front attack him, your opponent is probably going to kill themselves, all three of their cards, so you won't have anything to reverse. And like I said, it's really important to be able to reverse something because of the level 3 combo, Akatsuki combo, as well as the Shidoe effect. So I just wouldn't run him because, you know, you can't do the other stuff. And then your level 3 game is just pretty underwhelming if you can't do the other effects. So yeah, there's that. And lastly, I'm probably thinking about trying maybe 2 pants, solely just for the trigger, because doing the Akatsuki combo as much as possible, you know, as just your goal at the end. So having if you trigger a pants towards the end, that's infinitely better than, you know, triggering a book where you might have a chance to draw into the gate. But, you know, just getting to get a gate back to your hand and then combo the next turn is really nice. Pants is still a plus trigger, so, you know, you're not really losing out on much. If you trigger this before refresh, though, you definitely don't want to get another Climax to your hand. So that's like one of the only times you really wouldn't want this to go off. And it is 1 soul, so you do get a bit more damaging. So yeah, I'm probably going to try it. But yeah, you guys can run it as well. And that's basically it for my deck profile. I like the deck a lot. It's really cool. Just having Unstoppable level 3 is really awesome. And yeah. Not much to say. It's just really nice. Anything you got?
No, not much you can do with the deck because it is extra booster only. However, it is fairly solid. So, yeah, not bad at all. And it's kind of like Bakemono, where you just suck it to level 3, but yeah, that's what makes the deck fun.
Alright guys, that's it for my profile. Like usual, leave any comments or questions below, and we'd love to read them. And yeah, until next time.